In today's Where Are They Now, we're diving into what the wickedly wonderful Sanderson sisters, and the other stars of Hocus Pocus of course, have been up to since the world's favorite Halloween flick was released. I'm your host Michaela, let's jump right in. Ironically enough, Hocus Pocus actually came out in theaters during the midsummer of 1993 on July 16th. Despite the Kenny Ortega directed movie revolving around three 17th century sister witches brought back to life, not being a box office blockbuster nor critically acclaimed, its annual cable reruns and streaming over the years have placed the movie in a special place in the hearts of two whole generations. Almost 3 decades following its original release, Disney Plus gave the Sanderson sisters the revision everyone had been awaiting through the Hocus Pocus 2 sequel. But first, did you enjoy Hocus Pocus 2 more than the first, or do you believe the original can't be replaced? Let me know in the comments below. Taking our 10th spot is Bette Midler. Bette portrays Winifred Winnie Sanderson, the brains of the Sanderson sisters and leader of the iconic trio. Through Winnie, Bette was able to showcase her incredible vocal abilities with a lasting rendition of I Put a Spell on You during a Halloween celebration scene in the first film. Bette hails from an accomplished background of being an established singer and actress prior to her Hocus Pocus role. Since the year of 1993, Bette has made appearances in films like Parental Guidance, The First Wives Club, The Women, Freak Show, Isn't She Great, The Glorias, The Stepford Wife, and That Old Feeling. Her voice has been lent to numerous animated films, including the Addams Family franchise, Oliver and Company, and Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore. Later moving on to playing Hadassah Gold for Netflix's second season of The Politician. Since 1995, Bette has released a total of 7 official studio albums, with the inclusion of her latest from 2014 titled It's the Girls. On Broadway, Bette appeared in I'll Eat Your Last in 2013, and again more recently in 2017 for the run of Hello Dolly. Bette won the Tony Award for Best Lead Actress in a Musical category for her Dolly Gallagher Levi role. When 2016 came around, Bette expressed her initial interest in doing a Hocus Pocus sequel, and well, it surely aged well. Taking our 9th spot is Sarah Jessica Parker. Sarah plays the character Sarah, who's the youngest boy-crazy Sanderson, though Sarah may actually be most recently recognized for her work as Carrie Bradshaw in HBO's Sex and the City. For this, the actress won a combination of Emmy, Screen Actors Guilds, and Golden Globe awards. Despite the series closing out in 2004, the show received 2 additional sequels in 2008 and 2010, and Sarah eventually reprised her role on HBO's 2021 premiered spin-off titled And Just Like That. As an addition to the HBO family, Sarah also starred in their divorce series as Frances between 2016 to 2019. Some of Sarah's other acting credits include parts in The First Wives Club alongside Bette, New Year's Eve, Failure to Launch, Till There Was You, All Roads Lead to Rome, Smart People, and The Family Stone. Earlier this year, Sarah was the star of the Broadway revival of Plaza Suite with her husband Matthew Broderick. Outside of acting, Sarah has maintained a name for herself in the fashion industry through her SGP Collection shoe line. It's no secret that Sarah has done very well for herself since they filmed the original Hocus Pocus in 1993, and Bette wasn't the only leading actress of their trio who had shown interest in desiring the Disney sequel. When she spoke with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live back in 2016, Andy questioned Sarah on what her thoughts were of a potential second movie, to which the actress replied, "I would love that. I think we've all been fairly vocal about being very keen, but that hasn't created any groundswell of movement." Taking our 8th spot is Kathy Najimy. Kathy acted as the middle and final Sanderson sister Mary in HP. Outside of the movie though, Kathy spent 13 entire seasons being the voice of Peggy Hill for Fox's animated series King of the Hill. Her other TV roles include but aren't limited to American Dad, Numbers, Make It or Break It, Veep and Younger, and Inside Amy Schumer. The actress also played the character Captain Sandra Russo during A&E's 4th season of Unforgettable, as well as lent her voice to several parts of Fox's Duncanville since 2020. For films, Kathy's credits stem from The Wedding Planning, Nevada, A Medea Christmas, Attention Shoppers, Single All the Way, Never Letting Go, Music, and A Change of Heart Dumpling. Kathy later reunited with Kenny Ortega, who choreographed and directed the original Hocus Pocus for Disney's original flick Descendants, playing the evil queen. Years prior to HP's second film announcement, Kathy rounded out the trio with her interest in reprising her Mary Sanderson role. She tweeted a link in 2015 regarding an article in which Bette had stated she wanted to create a sequel, alongside the caption, "Hocus Pocus, Bette says it best, listen to your elders." Taking our 7th spot is Sean Murray. Yes, it's a fact that Jason Marsden voiced the cat version of Thackeray Binks in the film, and we'll get to him in a short while, but Sean was the one to portray the live-action version of the fictional animal. Thackeray is meant to be a teen set in 1963 who attempts to save his sister after she falls victim to the Sanderson bunch. In retaliation, the witches end up cursing Thackeray and casting him into an immortal cat, cue Jason. Throughout the majority of the film, Thackeray acts as the expert of the sisters to assist Max and the group in stopping the witches. Since his time in the film, Sean has been a guest on several TV shows like ER, Boston Public, Hearts of the West, Touched by an Angel, and Jag. Since 2003, Sean also portrayed Timothy McGee on NCIS and transitioned his role into an episode of NCIS New Orleans back in 2017. Sean spoke with E! News in 2014 regarding a potential Hocus Pocus sequel at the time. However, he didn't end up jumping on board for it in the end. Quote, "If they wanted me to be involved with it in some sort of way, I would probably say yes. Hocus Pocus has a great following and was a great part of when I was a kid." Taking our 6th spot is Omri Katz. Omri played Max Dennison in the 1993 film. Max was the new kid who didn't take the town's Halloween spirit very well. The black flame candle was lit by Max, which resulted in him accidentally resurrecting the sisters. For a large duration of the film, his companions are constantly giving him reminders that he was responsible for their mess. Omri's portrayal of Max is still his most well known to date, but Omri has guest starred in some other on-screen works such as General Hospital, Freaks and Geeks, and The John LaRoquette Show. Omri's final acting credit is through his role of Marshall Teller in a Childhood Thoughts episode from 2018. Omri is now a retired actor who splits his time between Israel and Los Angeles. Regarding the second movie, Omri once told TMZ back in 2021 that he hadn't received a call from the HB creators, but that he would have been honored to have been asked to appear in the sequel. Taking our 5th spot is Thora Birch, who plays the minimally annoying but lovable Dani Dennison. Dani is the youngest sister of Max and ends up creating a tight bond with Thackeray Binks while the group tries to figure out how to take down the Sanderson sisters. Thora was only 11 when Hocus Pocus was released, however she was a childhood star through and through. Her success in the films continued with parts in Alaska, Monkey Trouble, and Clear and Present Danger. Thora moved on to star in the acclaimed drama American Beauty as Jane Burnham, still her most credited role to date. Some of her following films include 13 Minutes, The Hole, Deadline, Affairs of State, Slingshot, Above Suspicion, Train, and Ghost World. Thora also dabbled in television, including leading roles in The Pregnancy Pack and Lifetime's Homeless to Harvard, The Liz Murray Story. In 2016, Thora bagged a recurring role in USA Network's Colony as Morgan, and later landed another consecutive role in AMC's The Walking Dead as Gamma between 2019 to 2020. Thora's directorial debut came in 2020 for Lifetime's The Gabby Petito Story, of which she was also a star of. Additionally, Thora is the voice of Audrey Beach in the 2020 Overleaper podcast. Taking our 4th spot is Doug Jones. Doug acted as Billy Butcherson, a zombie love interest of Winnie's that she recruits to help the trio absorb the youth of unwary kids. Doug is one of the only few original actors to reprise his role in the 2022 sequel, and spent a lot of his career being a former cartoonist whose work was best known in the horror genre. His film credits after Hocus Pocus are comprised of Hellboy, Mystery Men, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, The Bye Bye Man, Adaptation, John Dies at the End, The Shape of Water, Legion, and My Name is Jerry. Doug has obtained numerous TV show appearances as well, like Teen Wolf, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Arrow, Criminal Minds, The Flash, The Neighbors, Star Trek Discovery, What We Do in the Shadows, and Falling Skies. When he discussed Hocus Pocus in 2015 with ABC News, Doug affectionately referenced the film as the Wizard of Oz for Halloween. Taking our 3rd spot is Vanessa Shaw. Vanessa was Max's Halloween-loving crush Allison in Hocus Pocus. Max's mother was the previous runner of the Sanderson Sister Museum, where the Black Flame Candle was housed. Vanessa has since made additional appearances in The Hills Have Eyes, Side Effects, Eyes Wide Shut, Family Blood, We Need to Do Something, 40 Days and 40 Nights, After the Fall, 12 Mighty Orphans, Come Out and Play, The Blazing World, and Clinical. For her work as Emmy in the 2007 film 3:10 to Yuma, Vanessa was nominated for a Screen Actors Guild. The actress later landed a recurring role in 2014 for Ray Donovan. Her first pregnancy, alongside her husband Christopher Gifford, was announced in August 2014 on Instagram, with the inclusion of a clever nod to Hocus Pocus. The actress posted a drawing of the 3 Sanderson sisters and a positive test accompanied by the text, "Winnie, I smell a child." Taking our second spot is Jason Marsden. As aforementioned, Jason played the feline voice of Thackeray Binks during the film, and to many surprise and adoration, Jason hasn't quite let go of his Hocus Pocus spirit, honoring it a bit more with each passing year. However, Jason is another main cast member who is not credited for the film's sequel. Since starring in its original though, Jason transitioned into dozens of other voice acting parts with an extensive resume to back it up. This includes playing Max Goof in a Goofy movie and its sequel, as well as Haku in Spirited Away. As of lately, Jason remains in Tennessee working on production for his variety show Mars Variety. Taking our first spot is Larry Bagby and Tobias Gilliamy. In case those names don't ring a bell for you, Larry and Tobias acted as Salem's antagonists, Jay and Ernie, and are included in the handful of originals who didn't make the return for the second film. Larry landed his former haunted role following a couple of television appearances, but for Tobias, being a part of Hocus Pocus was his first ever role. Between the years of the film's release and now, both males have continued acting in various movies and TV shows. Most recently, Larry was able to pick up a bunch of jobs, one of which included his appearance on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, whereas Tobias starred in a recurring role for the animated series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's been today's WATN. Thanks for watching, friends.